99% of the time, it's pain. There's some pain that the client is feeling. If they've got a very established outdoor living space, but they're calling you, there's a reason for it. We need to uncover what kind of pain they're finding. Welcome to the Sales Made Simple podcast. This podcast is dedicated to helping overwhelmed outdoor living professionals, landscapers, and hardscapers just like you increase your closing rate to over 75% without doubling your workload so you can build a seven-figure business that doesn't need you. I'm your host, Joshua Gillow. Let's dig in. Here's the brutal truth about pain versus pleasure in sales. People will do 2 times more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. I'm going to say that again. People will do 2 times more to avoid pain and gain pleasure. But most contractors, they don't sell to pain. They listen for the things the client wants to include in their backyard, and they go right for it. They go for that low-hanging fruit. They sell patios, decks, and fire pits with everything else that's just on the surface. And they wonder why they get ghosted. They wonder why customers don't respond to them or follow up after they send them a proposal. They're like, man, I did exactly what Mrs. Jones asked for. Why didn't she respond to me? Well, guys, what she's looking for is someone who can connect with her and understand what her bigger pain is, not what she thinks. Because customers give you these lists of things they want. We call it the wish list, right? They give you a wish list of different things they want in the backyard. Why do you think they do that? They don't give you a wish list because they want to spend more money on things in the backyard or have more pavers in their backyard, little chunks of concrete. They don't want just that. They want the emotion that brings. That's what they're after. And the professional that gets to that pain, to that emotion, quickest and most effectively is the one that's going to walk away with the project. It is so important for us to slow it down and not just be focused on features, but on outcomes, on emotions. That's truly where everything shifts. Now, if you decide, hey, you know what? I'm not in this pain game. I'm just going to be selling stuff. Whatever client asks for, I'm just going to present proposals for it. And I'm good with a 20 or 30% closing margin. I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that being the mark. And I'm just going to work my tail off and spend tons of time with people who can't say yes. But you know what? It's okay. Because you know what? You're going to spend wasted hours for designs that never close. You're going to be dropping price and never hearing back from your customers. And you're going to feel like a vendor, not a trusted guide. And you know what? You're also going to get pretty pissed when less skilled competitors take your projects. But you know what? If you're not after pain, then that's what you're going to have to deal with. That's the reality you'll be living in the rest of your business career. Now, here's the part that hurts. Is that you're not getting beat by better builders. You're getting beat by better listeners. What really chaps my butt is when you see really poor craftsmen out there winning projects, whether it's on price or just because they've got a good hustle, and the clients get duped. They get screwed over. They somehow are going to end up in pain in the future. And it's all because, well, they might have a better sales system. And they can get either to pain or they can get to emotion or they can add all the bravado needed in order to get that customer to say yes to them, and you lose out. Your amazing craftsmanship and skill and your attention to detail never sees the light of day because, you know what? You didn't know how to communicate it. You didn't know how to communicate the value. So I'm going to give you a little scenario. Here's what's behind the request. So when someone says to you, Mrs. Jones reaches out and she says, you know, I want a bigger patio. Do you think she just wants more of those little square, rectangular, whatever chunks of concrete in her backyard, bigger paver patio? Do you think that's truly what she wants? Just more concrete? Or do you think there might be something more behind that? Perhaps the kids are kind of fighting every weekend when they're outside trying to find space in the patio because it's just too small. Perhaps they have gotten so mad at this, they don't even come home anymore or go out to that space at all. And mom and dad want the kids outside more to get fresh air, and they only want to go out in the patio because it's too small. Or maybe they're just flat out embarrassed to host people on his itty bitty little patio in the back. So when I say, I want a bigger patio, and the contractor jumps up and says, hey, no problem. I can add another 200 square foot. Does that sound right? Customer says, yeah, it sounds great because it's so much more than they have now. but they never got to the pain. So when they add the 200 square foot, client goes to use it, finds out it's still too small. And now they're upset because they just spent all this money, and then they're kicking themselves in the butt because they're like, you know what? I have all this regret. I wish I would have taken the time to learn more about what I truly needed in the space. A true sales professional knows this already. And they're already coming in there thinking, okay, they want a bigger patio. Why? What about their lifestyle is making this patio they currently have too small? And digging deeper into that, being a curious detective, asking questions, and getting deeper into this conversation so that you can figure out what is the best solution. Because you know what? The guy that says, yeah, I can add another 200 square foot to that patio, he might charge another 10, 15, whatever, $1,000 to add to it, and he might walk away smiling. But you know what? Deep down, that client was willing to spend 50 or 60 to do it right. They didn't know it yet, but once you unpack what they truly need, want, and desire in order to make that space amazing, to avoid the pain that they're trying to solve for, a lot more options open up. A lot more possibilities, a lot more budget often opens up because it's a much bigger problem now. No, it's not our goal to make problems bigger. It's our goal to get to the core of the problem. And it's 99% of the time, it's pain. There's some pain that the client is feeling, some kind of some way that the backyard is not supporting their lifestyle or not supporting what they want emotionally, and they want to change that so they can enjoy it more comfortably or more often or with bigger crowds or whatever it might be out of the sunshine. There's so many different ways that clients view these backyard spaces. What's important is that you realize that you're not selling square footage. You're selling relief from this pain. That's really what you're selling, the relief. And if you don't sell and understand the true needs of the client, the pain that they're facing, you're going to be replaceable, forgettable, gone. So if you go in there and just pitch numbers to them, you're going to be lined up with the other two guys who did the same thing. And the last one that came in actually asked them questions and opened up the possibility for them to see what could be in that space, and is the one that steals the show and grabs the project at a much higher premium, no less. So here's an example. You have a 20 by 20 patio, fire pit, lighting, seating wall, and that's what you say, hey, that's what you need. That's what you need to solve this problem. And they say, yeah, let me talk to my spouse. And they vanish. Why? Well, you didn't uncover what they truly need, want, and desire. You just listened to what they said, 20 by 20 patio, fire pit, lighting, seating wall. Hey, I'll be back in a week with a proposal and a design for you. Client's like, cool. And so did everybody else. It's the sales pro that can say, okay, I'm glad those sounds like amazing features for your backyard, but if we can take a moment and just get a better understanding of exactly why we need those features in the backyard for you to fully engage the space. Can you tell me more about that? And boom, they're going to start opening up, say, well, because of this and because of that and because of this and because of that. And I'm really looking forward to this. And we want to have barbecues on the weekends. And I want my kids to come back and the grandkids and all this. All of a sudden, this becomes so much bigger than just a couple of features. These are outcomes which are attached to feelings. And when you do that, wow, does that open up the door? Does that open up the door of possibilities to the customer? So when you lay out your design, the next thing you know, you're starting to see smiles and you see those, wow, like I didn't know that was even possible back here. It's amazing. So keep in mind, here's a couple of questions you can ask as you're moving through. So what's not working in your space right now? When you're talking to a client, maybe it's on the phone or even out with them. What's not working? What are some pain points you have about what you currently have? If they have a big open lot with nothing in it, well, that's a great question to ask. If they've got a very established outdoor living space, but they're calling you, there's a reason for it. We need to uncover what kind of pain they're finding. Either it's too small or it's too big or it's too hot or it's too windy or it's hard to get to or it's falling apart. There's some pain that we need to uncover. And what's most frustrating right now about this space? You might say it's too far from the house or it's too many steps. So many different responses, but don't assume. Ask the questions and be quiet. You're a detective, remember? So another question would be is, what happens if you decide not to move forward? It's a big open question. You don't know what you're going to get out of it. Maybe it's, it doesn't bother us at all. This is more the wife's thing, not me, more of her project. I don't really care. Or it's, man, if we don't, wow. If we don't get this fixed, we're not going to be able to have our banquet here at the house that we have every year, our big family get together. We call it the banquet, and they come together, the entire family. There's like 15 of us, and we have this big feast. And we won't be able to have it here. They're going to have to have it at my brother's house. And you know what? I don't want that to happen. I really love having everybody at my house. So you start to get into the sense of the emotional drivers for why this is so important. And, you could also ask, why now? Why not next year for this project? Trying to get a sense of it's how urgent it is for them to do the project itself. Don't be afraid to ask questions like that. Those questions open up understanding. And when you ask the question, you stay silent and just look and smile. They're going to be like, they're going to answer. And they're going to give you information. These aren't salesy questions. These are service questions. I truly, deeply want to know why that is. Because when you do understand, then you can finally position yourself as a solution, the true deep solution, the emotional solution that they've been craving, that they haven't gotten from other people. And that is where the value lies. It doesn't have to be that you have more equipment or more trucks or more skilled this labor or more that or whatever, better design systems or the best landscape architect on your team. None of that really matters if you can't get to the core of the pain. So really at the end of the day, pain shifts it. If you can get to the pain, when you get to the pain, it creates urgency and it builds trust if you can fully understand it. And then figure out a path to help that client pass that pain. It helps with leverage. It helps get that whole kind of hidden gas pedal on the decision once we understand what it is. And if you ignore it, you're going to lose projects. It's quite simple. We got to get to that pain. We got to figure out what's motivating them to do this project now. Once we understand that, now we can finally position ourselves as that solution. And I'm not talking about manipulating people. I'm not talking about making stuff up. Because some clients aren't good fits no matter what. No matter how good you are at selling, some clients just aren't good. But if you're skipping the pain, going right for the pleasure, remember, people are 2 times more motivated to act on pain, to avoid pain, than they are to gain pleasure. So if you're going only after pleasure, you only have half the potential to be helping clients and serving them or closing deals. But if you can get into the pain and become really skilled at asking great questions and uncovering that pain, it'll change the way you show up, and it'll also change your ability to help and serve clients. What if you could close 75% of your projects without chasing, convincing, or dropping your price? That's not a dream, that's the mission. Mission 75. Here at Yes Express Sales Academy, we are spearheading a bold shift to help outdoor living contractors sell with confidence, not desperation. Because let's be real, you've been told to just give them a good price and hope for the best. You've been trained to beg for work and give away your time and compete with contractors who don't even play at your level. That ends now. I wrote the Core 10 Sales Playbook because it's the system I desperately needed 20 years ago. It's built for real-world, design-build contractors, not guys in suits. Inside, I'll show you how to qualify leads in minutes, speak to emotion, not features, cut confusion and eliminate ghosting, lead the sales call with calm authority, and close premium jobs without flinching. That book drops in January 2026. Check out the show notes to get on the list to be the first in line to grab your copy of the Core 10 Sales Playbook before they're gone. This isn't about working harder, it's about selling smarter, and it starts now. Let's raise the standard together.